Alright, so we got basically a level 2 force diagram problem here. And again, we're going to investigate the accolades of Wonder Woman. I've been reading a bunch of her comics recently, so I'm kind of on a Wonder Woman kick, I guess. And so we're going to choose our system. So there's my system, Wonder Woman. Alright, done and done. That's my system. And then I want to see what she's interacting with. So let's pick, I don't know, blue here. So let's see what she's interacting with. So is she interacting with Darkseid? That's Darkseid. I'm sure you all knew that. And her lasso of truth is pulling on him. So we've got a force interaction here. And then she is resting her feet on the ground. So that's another force interaction. And then as always, this is on Earth. Heck, it could be on a different planet, because that sometimes happens in Justice League, but it's on Earth, and so we have the force of gravity acting down on us. So now, let's analyze what's really happening to Wonder Woman here. So let's choose to draw Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman. It's great drawing Wonder Woman. All these years of art school really paid off. And so now, let's just jump right into it. So I've got force of gravity on Wonder Woman by the Earth. Okay, and then if I look, one thing I'm noticing is that this lasso is at an angle. Okay, it's definitely at an angle. So we've got an angle here. Lasso's at an angle. So I'm just going to draw it as is right now. So this is force of tension, and it's at an angle. Because even though she's pulling him, we want to know what is happening to her. So therefore, he's pulling back. Even though he's flying through the air, he's still pulling back. So there's a force of tension there. And then the ground is pushing up. So we've got force normal on Wonder Woman by ground. All right, so the ground's pushing up. And so then we are going to say, okay, are there any other forces? Well, I don't know. Maybe there's not. Let's go with there aren't any forces. But we do notice we have a force at an angle, so we got to break that up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this angled force with its components. So it's pointing up and to the right. And so I'm going to draw in the upwards piece, so force of tension. And since upwards, the Y piece on Wonder Woman by Darkseid. And then it's also pointing to the right, so there's got to be a right piece. So force of tension in the X-plane on Wonder Woman by Darkseid. And then once I've done that, I can effectively eliminate this force. It's been replaced by the other two forces. And so now I got to ask myself, okay, if I think I'm done, I got to ask myself, is there any motion? So if I look in the X-plane, I believe that she's not moving. All right, so we have constant velocity. And if we have constant velocity, then we must have balanced forces. So balanced forces. So then obviously this is going to balance out with, I guess, something over here. What could that be? Well, if she's being pulled that way, but she's not going anywhere, there's probably going to be some force resisting that. I'm thinking friction. And I would be right. So we have a force of friction on Wonder Woman by this ground. Because of that friction, she'd be sliding towards him as well. And again, I'm making the assumption that we have constant velocity or she's at rest. And then the Y-plane, I am also assuming constant velocity. Gonna get a little lazy here. And therefore, I know I have to have balanced forces as well. So to show balanced forces, I have to bust out my tick marks. So this is balanced with this, and then this is balanced with this. So again, these two are working together to balance out gravity, and that's why this value plus this value equals this value itself. And so this is my force diagram. So if you ever see anything at an angle, you can break it up into its components. So this would be a slightly more advanced version of what we saw last time, where we didn't have anything at angles at all. Hope that was helpful. Go read some comic books.